Yo, YouTube! In today's video, we are going to be changing the rocker cover gasket on the E36 right here. So it's been leaking for about I don't know, 3 years probably now. So as you can see, it's very nasty. It's been like this for like 2 or 3 years, and I think it's finally time to have a look at it and change the gasket out. And meanwhile, while we're doing that, we're going to be changing the spark plugs as well as the ignition coils. And while we're doing all of that, I'm going to be also addressing another issue that I had for over 3 years now. And as you can see over there, if it will focus, that line over there that runs to the ICV over here. See, so you will need to hold the phone or the screen sideways to see it, but that's this hose right here, the one on the left. See, and that one was already like in tape for almost 3 years again now. So everything was running fine, never had issues with anything. Just when it was cold, it was like the throttle stuck sometimes. Well, sometimes it always was stuck. So when you rev it, it will keep it like 2 seconds or something and then drop the revs. So that was a bit annoying, but I got used to it. But now that I was thinking, so because the gasket was pretty bad, I thought it's winter now, let's change it right now. While we're at it, I thought like, why not do everything at once? So we were going to be changing that elbow to a better one and change all of that. So we're going to take off the manifold, change the gasket where the camshafts are, and I have another part, but I don't know if I will install it in this video because I think it will be a very long video otherwise. I have these parts here. They are like also gaskets for the oil filter housing, because a friend of mine told that those two tend to leak as well, or they don't tend to leak, but they get very brittle and hard after a long time. So yeah, whilst this intake is off, I will be taking off the oil filter housing when the manifold is off, because I have a lot of access to everything then. And yeah, we'll do that everything at once. So yeah, I don't know video wise how everything will turn out. It will be 1 video or 2 videos, I don't know, because it's like a pretty big thing, because it's like a lot of parts that need to be changed. So I think it will be too much for 1 video. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead now and start cleaning up a little bit of the grime and the dirt that was on the head of the block. And yeah, I'm also gonna paint the cover, I think, because right now it's like this red thing, half silver thing. They didn't use heat paint, so that's a bad job. Yeah, but we can do it better. I'm still doubting on what color I should use. Would I use like black or red or maybe blue? I don't know. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit and then start to dismantle everything. So let's go. Yeah, that's nasty. See, what do we think of this? This already looks a lot better with just a little clean. I'll take this plastic cover off and then start dismantling everything. So we will undo them right now. But this is just maintenance, if you can call it like that. Conquer wood. Well, as you could have expected, I found every one of them except for one. I could have called this before I went looking, but I thought like, yeah, maybe I will find it. But it's always the same shit. You drop it and then you lose like one. That's car garage things, I guess. We'll undo the spark plugs now. Ignition coils themselves. And as you can see already, this does not look very good. This is not how they came out of the factory, guys. And there's a lot of oil on the top of the ignition coil. About the tape around them. See? This is bad. The tape around it. 6 is good as well. See? So it's just the first two ones that were a bit in oil. Yeah, now it's time to take out the spark plugs. Oi, 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 oi. This is very bad. See? This is really, really bad. 2 is about fine. 3 is meh. But 4, 1 and 4 are just terrible, man. I know all of the oil will be on the pistons, but that's fine. It will just burn off. It will be smoking first time. And 1 is very terrible. Well, we know that already. Okay, so after we got the spark plugs out, I think now it's time to undo all of the head bolts. And not the head bolts, but you know what I mean. Like this nut here will need to go, and then this bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, all of them. See, so all the head bolts, you know what I mean. And then I think the valve cover will come off, and then I can clean it and spray it in the color I want to. So next up is taking off this thing here, I think, I don't know, to take off the wires over there, and then the thing can come off. I think we take this off. It's stuck somewhere over there, but that's okay. We are just going to put these over here. Normally these won't be in the way anymore. Okay, so I zip tie them to this side so they're just clear of the block itself. And now it's time to take out the bolts and get the head off, or the valve cover. Before we take out all of the... Oh, motherfucker, that one will be a hard one. I need to undo this one as well. Forgot that, apparently. It comes off. I don't know if this is a long thing that's in here or not.
That's what she said!
Hello, I'm Milan. I'm for the Venten. I'm helping with Zikar.
So, found out that if you remove this thing over here, the cover thing, the plastic that's over there, you need to, if you undo that, you can access the bolt on the back a little bit, just enough to undo it. You don't have to take all of this off. Well, it's easier, but it's not necessary. Okay guys, so what I did forget to say is you have all the bolts on the outside, but they're also on the inside. You have one here, you have one here, here, and here. I think there's 4. Normally there's 4. And then all of the outside bolts, and then you can take the cover off. Love it.
Moet je karton eronder leggen? Te laat.
How's it looking?
Ai.
Nice.
Dat is niet de bedoeling, hè?
Waarom? Waarom?
Dat vol olie ligt.
Dat is juist de bedoeling dat het vol olie ligt, hè?
Ik ben een informaticus, laat me.
Jesus, fijn, krijgt dat. Zo geen olie moet neerzetten. Ik zou het niet moeten afdoen, het is over de grote toch. Okay, so the head is off now. And now we have a look at the camshaft. Very nice camshaft.
De camshaft.
So, die...
Wat is dat?
Dat is mijn lader van Makita. Okay, is die klaar? We have the camshafts here, and the camshafts with these lobes, they put down the valves to open up and close when the piston goes up and down. And I see these are BMW ones on the exhaust, so these haven't changed. So now I'm gonna take off this gasket here, which has been leaking very badly, as you guys saw earlier in the video. So these are these gaskets over here, and then we have the big one that's leaking already 3 years on me. Yeah, that's how you dismantle everything. Now I'm gonna go clean up the cover itself and have it good, nice little paint. I think I'm gonna do it red. Red should be fine. It was red previously, but yeah, not good. So yeah, let's go to the shop and get some heat resistant paint. Okay, so got back from the shop, got me some primer and some engine paint. They didn't have red, unfortunately, so thought blue would be cool as well. And got some nuts as well for the rack over here. And now it's time to go and sand a little bit off. Not a lot, it's not very aggressive one, it's like 320. Maybe it's even a little bit too aggressive, but I think it will do the work and do it just fine. And then clean everything up and we'll have a go at the painting. Well, won't you look at this? So I cleaned it up a bit and I started sanding down, and as you can see, I think under the silver was red. So it's the reverse cycle. I thought it was silver and they painted it red, but I think it was red and they painted it silver. I'm gonna do this part here. See? I think it was red underneath. Oh. Okay, so this is how it came out after sanding everything down. Looks about good. I'm gonna clean it up now, spray it off with some compressed air, and then give it the first layer of primer. Now put the second layer of primer on it. It's looking already a bit better. It's still an old template thing. There are some flaws in it, like that. Ideally you would sandblast this or something, but wait an hour or so now for the blue, and then I'll get back to you guys. Now it's the moment of truth, and see if I will like the blue. As you can see, I didn't spray it yet. First reaction on video. Yeah, I think this will look good. And then spray the strut bar as well. Yeah, this will be just fine. Okay, so next up we are gonna be undoing the gasket itself and clean it a little bit before adding the new one, and then put everything back together. I'm doing this while the
cover is drying.
While the cover is drying, indeed, Milan. While the cover is drying, I am doing all of this. Okay, so while we wait for the cover to dry, I will mount the new spark plugs in already. I will mount the new spark plugs. They are the same, and they are new ones, but they are the same. I already measured it with the, I don't know how you call this in English.
The voermolen.
The feeler buddies. It was the same. It was like 0.65 or something for the old ones and the new ones, so they are the same. And for the people wondering, these are the spark plugs I'm using. It's the Bosch R6. So I mounted all of them except for this one now into the car, and then you tighten them down to, if it's thread M14, you tighten them down to 30 Newton meters of torque, and when they are M12 you tighten them down to 23 Newton meters of torque. But this is tight. I don't like this. Het is moderne, but I don't like it. We have the next day, and look at this. Looking pretty good. I like the blue. It's a nice shade of blue. That's dry, and now I already cleaned off the surface where it mates together for the gasket, and now we put the gasket on and then put the cover back on here. Okay, so first of all I'm gonna do these ones. The ones for the spark plugs. Fits like a glove. It's not OEM, but I think it will be just fine. It's a Vicktor Reinz gasket. I've been told that's a good gasket, so I'm using this. I'm gonna lay it out first a bit, I guess. First in the back and then to the front. I'm gonna check afterwards. Now I'm just putting it over all of the bolts so that it doesn't fall off. Make sure the gasket is seated nicely and properly. See, so you have these holes here, and on the gasket you have like these tabs, and you just need to make sure they are all put in correctly, and then the gasket will flow nicely. So now the moment of truth, putting the cover back on. That was easy. Remember, before you start adding the bolts, don't forget these new ones, the rubber things that just go onto here. Okay, so once you got all of the rubber O-rings in, it's time to put the bolts in. Don't forget your washers. I was halfway with all of the bolts through, and then I suddenly thought, oh well, I need washers for this. So don't forget to put the washers through. Okay, so now for torquing, if it's M6 bolts, you need to torque them down to 10 Newton meters of torque, and if it's M7, you need to tighten them down to 15 Newton meters of torque. There's no specific pattern you need to do, but I'm just gonna work my way out from the middle to the sides to lay it evenly. And for the back one, I'm going to use this regular socket and ratchet because I can't torque it down underneath there. So I'm just gonna do this hand tight. We are gonna be putting back the plastic thingies that I took off. Like here is like this thing is for the cables of the ignition coils. And this cover that was on here, which I needed to undo to get to the last bolt over there and put on the filler cap. And then we're gonna attach the ignition coils. And also don't forget this one right here. Put this thing back on, because if something drops in now, I would be very mad. So. Okay, but first of all, don't forget these. These need to go on as well. Okay, so with those two on, now it's time for the coils. So these are the new coils. Ta-da! HP ignition. I got them recommended and even good as OEM, so with probably a little bit performance gains, so I will see. We'll mount them right now.
This one's tight. This one's tight. This one's tight. This one's good. This one's good. This one's good. 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 And good.
Now it's time to put the cables onto it and see if my car still works. Lol. Looks good. Nice. I'm happy with the results. How it looks like. I like blue. Blue is my favorite color. And then with the red, I think it's matching. Let's see if she starts now. Okay, so after doing all of that, your gasket, your rocker cover or cylinder head cover gasket is been replaced. Also with some new ignition coils and some new spark plugs. So that's how you do it. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Oh yeah, and don't forget to put the plastic cover back on. Yo!